Hi Flosstube, I'm Lori and welcome to Once Upon a Stitch. This is my 61st Flosstube and I'm so excited to be here with you. Today is Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. A very, very important day. It's my son, James and Amy's first year anniversary. So happy anniversary to James and Amy. A year ago we were at the hotel heading over to the venue to start getting things ready and set up. So it was a very exciting time. Today is also election day, so if you haven't already, I hope you have the opportunity to get out and vote. Alrighty, let's get into what we're here for. And I'm going to start with any questions that you might have had since my last video. And the first one was a viewer, Kathleen, had asked me what fabric I used for the Tiny Modernist's haunted house, and I said that Needleworkers had dyed it for me. They called it Haunted, and she contacted them, and I had received an email from Needleworkers saying that my order was in and can I call the shop. So I called them up and they asked me about it, and I said, you know what, I'll come over and bring the fabric with me, but just to share it with you, because it wasn't a fabric that they had in their line. They said they had dyed it specifically for me for this, so so I brought it there so that they had a good idea of what they did, and they took pictures, and this is the fabric, and this is a 28 count Lugana, and they called it Haunted. So Kathleen, I hope that they were able to get that dyed for you, and hopefully you'll receive it soon. But I have not done any stitching on that since the last time I showed it in the last video. Okay, another viewer asked me about what happens if I have set something up for my 2-day rotation and I don't get to stitch. Now, for the most part, that's happened, I told you last time, 4 times. It's 5 now. 5 days from January 1st, 2020 that I have not stitched at all. And I had to think about it because I couldn't remember what I did because it didn't happen that often. But this time I remembered. I just skipped over it. I stitched it one day, and if I didn't stitch on it that second day, I put it to bed and the next one came out, because everything else impinges on what happened before. So if I have everything set up, I want to stitch those projects as well. So it just goes on to another month that I will pick it up. And somebody asked me about the quilt that was hanging here last video, and it was pumpkins. And she asked where I got it from. This was one of the this was the, for me, I enjoyed this magazine the most. American Patchwork and Quilting by Better Homes and Garden. And that was the pumpkin quilt that was on the cover. And there's a pattern in here. And here's like another picture of it. It had the cat, the star, and it was slightly different, and I didn't want to do it just as a jack-o'-lantern for Halloween. I wanted to have it out through Thanksgiving. I'm just trying. So I've showed it before, but let's see which way. This is my pumpkin quilt, and this was all hand pieced and hand quilted. So I hope you were able to see it, and it came out of that magazine. And it was funny because, excuse me, I was looking for the magazine to share with everybody, and I found another one that I really, really loved. And this was the log cabin one over here. And it's with holiday reds and greens. And I just think that's so pretty. I think if I were to buy what they call honey bunnies, I would try that quilt next. Okay, One other thing that I shared with you the last time was this finish here by New York Dreamer. And you know, like sometimes I get so nervous that I'm doing a floss tube, but when I'm stitching things and I says, oh, I should share this because it happened to me, maybe it'll happen to somebody else. And what I wanted to share about this is, if you look in the leaves, I don't know if you can see, there's a back stitch that runs through them, like in a brown. And I said to myself, from the pattern, I says, oh, is it a long stitch or is it individual back stitches across? So I did long stitches. I had done half of the pattern and I did the long stitches, and then I was stitching, I moved my Q-snap, whatever, and I was stitching it, and every time I go to put it on the Q-snap, I saw this piece of thread there and I was trying to pick it off. And what it was the long stitch for the leaves. So that answered my question. I took out the long stitches and then I just restitched half of it because only half was done at the time. But I made them, they were all individual little running stitches. So I did want to share that with you. Maybe some stitchers are new to cross stitching, and sometimes you wonder, do I do a long stitch or a short stitch? You could either try the long stitch, but in my case it didn't work, and I would advise to do the in each individual diagonal. Okay, I had 2 finishes, only 2 this year. This since the last one. This was last year's finish that I did on a Prairie schooler. There you go. And this was from a pamphlet of St. Nick, I think it was called. Was that it? I think so. And this was gifted to me by Leah Fitzpatrick at the New Jersey Cross Stitch Retreat, the last one that we had. And I finished it very similar. It's larger, it's a larger count, but I finished it similarly with red ticking in the back. I'm going to close this light. I put it on because it's cloudy outside, but I thought we might need it, but maybe not. So those are the 2 Prairie schoolers. Well, every time I do a Prairie schooler, I'm going to try and finish it like this. I believe I got this Christmas ribbon at Michael's last year, and I put a rusty bell on each of them. So I'm probably not going to do any more Prairie schoolers this year, but I'll tell you about my plans later on. Okay. So that was one finish, and the second finish, this was really like, I thought about it every month since I finished it, and I kept saying, oh, what happens if I mess it up and I do something wrong and I have to restitch it, and give me a lot of anxiety, but I finished it. And it's Caleb's ornament. They're little pillows with the Prairie schooler alphabet, and I put a jingle bell, a rusty bell at the top as well, and I'm very happy with the way it came out, even though I stressed over it the whole time. I was going to put twill tape in the back, but when I found this ribbon that I finished for the other Prairie schooler, I liked the way it looked. So what I did with these, because they were really tiny, I sewed them all the way around. I cut a slit in the back, and then I put a piece of fabric on the slit, so you couldn't see the slit, and I matched the fabric, and then I hot glued because that was the only way that was going to stay, the ribbon would stay pretty straight, so I hot glued the ribbon to the back. So that's that one. Okay, and that was all the questions that I had. No, I think I answered. I videotaped this already 3 times, and I don't think I went over this question. Daniela asked me, what do I do when I don't stitch a day on something do I just push it to the next day, since I have a 2-day rotation for everything? And I had to think about that. That was like, I was thinking like, what would I do? Because I don't think that's happened. Like, I don't know. To be honest with you, there were 4 days that I had not stitched this year, and I don't remember how I handled it, to be quite honest. But there was a day within these last 2 weeks that I filmed that I didn't stitch. And the way I handled it this time was I didn't stitch on the project. I moved on to the next project the next day. And then that project will go on to another month that I'll work on the rotation of it. So, you know what? I think I'm trying to be disciplined in doing this 2-day rotation because I want to stitch so many things. And by doing a little bit at a time, I'll get it done eventually. And I'll be able to enjoy everything that I want to start. But if I start adding days here and there, it just doesn't go with the way I'm doing my stuff. I'm not saying it's the correct way, but this is what works for me. So that's how I did my 2-day rotation. And if I repeated myself, I'm sorry. I'll find out when I watch this over and I'll just go, oh, what did I do? Okay, whips. I had finished stitching this cross stitch part of this, and this is Nora Corbett Geranium. And I have to do the beading. I'm not totally enjoying the beading work on this, and I have to do the outline of the arms, face, and legs. I'll see if I can get in a little bit closer and you can see some of the beading work there. There's some in her hat. There's some in here, the top part of her dress. There's some in her dress. There's red ones in her dress, like clusters here and here and here, that's hard to see on camera. And then we're going to have some strands from this. Do I enjoy beading? I enjoy beading when there's not a lot of beading, but I don't know. I just hope I get this done by December 31st. Because that's all I have left on this one is the beading work on it. And I feel like I have to do it during the day, so I'm going to schedule it on a Saturday and Sunday, and hopefully during the day I can work on that if I get some time in, and then maybe in the evening I'll work on something else. Okay, on to my whips. This is Stoney Creek, Autumn in the Village. Clear. Doesn't want to. It's kind of dark. Anyway, you can see it in my project. And I'm doing this on a 28 count ivory Lugana. What did I do this time? I think I just finished the trees. Sometimes these boards are more trouble than they're worth. Okay, I finished these trees, and the space in there is space that's in there. There are no colors go in there. It's just the background. And then I did the outlining, and this didn't look like anything until I put the outlining in, and then you can tell it's a barber shop. So I think the next time I pick this up, you know, I was wondering, like, should I keep going this way or should I go back and do this one? I think I'm going to go this way, which is another house. Let me see if I can get in there. Another house that way. But then when I pick it up, sometimes I, oh, I'll go that way. So that was Autumn in the Village by Stoney Creek. Sometimes I wish I had an assistant to help me put these things back in order so that I don't waste time. The next one I worked on was Baby, It's Cold Outside
by Heartstring Samplery, and I finished the house, and that's all I did. I finished the house. Sometimes I like to see the pattern, like, oh, where she worked. See the house. So the next time I pick it up, I think I'm going to complete the words and go to the end, and then maybe work my way down. So Kathy to Dye House had sent me this pattern to stitch because she knew I wanted to stitch it. So thanks, Kathy. I'm making progress on it. The next one is His Eye is on the Sparrow by Heartstring Samplery, and this is a huge piece. I don't know how many years it's going to take me to complete it, but I work on it when I can, and I finished the house on this one as well. And this is done, oh, I didn't tell you the count. Let's see. Baby It's Cold Outside is done on 28 count gingerbread. Heartstring Samplery's 28 count Heritage Lugana. And that's where I did. I got the house done. So I think I'll just work my way across that line and then bring the border down. Some viewers always ask me questions of like, what did I put, what fabric did I stitch on? I try to remember to tell you when I'm showing you the patterns, but sometimes I just forget, so I apologize for that. But always feel free, if I don't tell you, to email me. I'd be happy to share. Okay. The last time I picked this one up was July. I wrote little notes to myself. I worked on this 6 days. And the last time I picked it up was July 3rd and 4th. So I put in 2 days. This house is lots of stitching. I guess lots of houses this time. This is Lantern Lane by Little House Needleworks. And I did a row of windows and the fill-in. And I started the next row with the door. But I didn't, 2 days went really quick. So when I pick this up again, I will be stitching on, oh, a little fuzz. And this is stitched on 28 count, Picture This Plus Legacy, Lugana. I'm in the process of kitting my new starts that I'm going to have for the new year, and a lot of the fabric is not regular sized pieces because I work on 28 count, and a lot of times the patterns are called for higher count fabric, so I know what they call it, quarter yard pieces. I call them the table size pieces, like that's what everybody, fat quarters, that's what I think they're called fat quarters in cross stitching. They're not large enough sometimes. Okay, I picked up Red Rooster in this time. This is Little House Needleworks. My friend Alva gave me the pattern, and I finished the house. No, I didn't finish the house. No, I have fill-in of the house on the bottom. Another house. Red Rooster in. So I did all this, and I have the fill-in all in here. And what I decided to do is I am not doing the alphabet. I will do the side here. It says breakfast served daily. I believe that's the sun. I'll put the date in, and I'll put this bottom border, but I'm not going to do the alphabet. And this is done. Let's see if there's a tag on it. No. Is 28 count Ivory Lugana. 2 days, I think I accomplish a lot on a project and make headway. This is Halloween Quaker by Lila's Studio, and I was just looking at the I kept the tag from the fabric, and this is a 28 count Lugana, and they called it Halloween Quaker, so they knew what to dye this fabric. That was Needleworkers when I asked them for the fabric for this. And I finished the witch, the moon, this oh, that was done. These motifs, the owl, and this motif, and the bird. So after the bird, there's a flower here, and that will be the width of the pattern, and then it will go down. So that's Lila's Studio Halloween Quaker. I also have from Lila's Studio Christmas Quaker, but I didn't work on that one in this rotation. But I picked up one that I hadn't touched in a long, long time. I can't even remember. I mean, I wrote it down somewhere, but I didn't make the notation here. And this, let me turn the page, is the Frosted Pumpkin, and it's stitched on 14 count Aida. And if I had to guess the color, because I don't know it, I would say it's close to a platinum or an ivory. And this is the pattern. It's called Once Upon a Time, and it has all the Aesop stories. And I hadn't picked this up, and I don't even know if I picked it up this year. I don't remember. I finished this block January, and I believe that's Sleeping Beauty. Okay, with the I'm not up on my Disney yet. It's when she eats the apple, falls asleep, because there's apples in here, and these are the hunters that had to go after Sleeping Beauty. I hope I'm not getting my stories mixed up. And then excuse me, I finished that, and I came down to April, and that's going to be Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I don't know all the stories, but I have time to read up on them. So this is the whole piece. That's the border. I started a little bit low. That could have gone up a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I wasn't enjoying it because like every couple of stitches it was a new color, and I kept having to change. And I know some people like that, like some people don't mind doing confetti. I prefer doing blocks of color. I know it's monotonous, but I do enjoy it. The next pattern is Forever and Ever from Cottage House Samplings. And the last time you saw it, I had just the green flower done with the leaves. So this was only worked on one day. This was the one this month that I did not put in a lot of 2-day rotation. It's just one. And I just brought the stem down, did the 2 leaves. That's it. But I like the way it looks. And this is stitched on a 28 count ice blue Lugana. So this I started this on February of last year, like for Valentine's Day, you know, love. But I didn't put many days in it. Okay, here I ordered a new pattern that came in the mail. Actually, I ordered 2. And this was the first one, the Hanukkah Star. And this is the second one. It's called Menorah Duo. And I decided this year to do,
Christmas ornament for James and Amy and Michael and Rebecca for the tree. And Amy is Jewish, so but they put up a Christmas tree. They celebrate both. So this year I thought I would do the menorah and finish it in a pillow eventually, and give it to her before Hanukkah, and they can hang it on their tree. So what was nice about this pattern, let me take it out of the plastic, is that it's done over, why is that? It's a window. Okay, this one here. The outside border, excuse me, the outside border is done with 2 threads. The inside cross stitches are done with 1, and the same things inside the candle. The outside of the candle was 2 strands, and the inside was 1. And then Arlene, the designer, Arlene Cohen, there we go, used beads as the flame of the candles. I did mine on a 28 count ivory, and I did not have the call for Blueberry by Gentle Arts, so I have a piece of paper. I used DMC 930. I did have the gold leaf for the candles, and instead of the beads I used Petite Treasure Braid PB01, which I let's see, is there less glare there? That the window is shining. It's a cloudy day, but for some reason part of the sun now is starting to peek. So I used the Petite Treasure Braid for the flame, and I really like the way it came out. So I'm going to make this into a pillow. I think I'll use some blue fabric, and I'm going to see about what I can use for, I'm going to see if I can find a trim to put around it, and a hanger. So hopefully by the next regular video that they're falling, that I tape, I'll be able to have that finished and share with you. Okay, this is Plum Street Peace, Love, Purpose, and I am not doing this bottom tulips and fill-in or the words. I'm doing everything else but. I finished the house. Yes, I did finish the house. I'm thinking, did I finish it the last time? No, I finished the house. And okay, what I got accomplished on the house was this bottom row had to be done. Then the bottom row underneath, I got the gentleman done, and I started on the misses. So I think I have the bird, a bird up here, and a few things here, the year, and I think I can do it in one more rotation. And this is stitched on, oh, I didn't write it down. Let's see. It's a 28 count Lugana. Rock Quarry, I think it was called. That's right. It was a piece that I had picked up off the table that I liked and didn't know when I was going to use it again. I believe it's Rock Quarry. .28 count Lugana. Okay. One more. This was a new start on October 1st. That was the harvest moon. And then I was going to pick it up on the 31st for the blue moon, because it's called Once in a Blue Moon by the Calico Confectionery. And I am stitching this on a Picture This Plus, I think it's 16 count, shale. Color is shale, it's an Ada, and I believe it's 16 count. Sometimes when I was ordering Picture This Plus, instead of getting it in a Lugana, I get a small piece in Ada and see if I like it. It's showing up a little blue, but it's a light gray actually. But I like the way it looks on camera. And I completed the moon, the word in, started the cat, and the top of the pumpkin was charted for blue, and I did not want to do that blue. So most of the pumpkins I pick, those tops are brown. I was going to put green, and I'm like, I don't know. I've never seen a green one. Maybe on the plant, but that was usually the leaves. But anyway, I decided to do it brown, and I changed, which I shared the last time. The leaves are a real bright orange like the pumpkin, and I toned it down to like a rust. So that was the last of my stitching for the last 2 weeks. I'm working on my next rotation downstairs that I'll share with you. Okay, I'm going to tell you my plans, and then I'll go into just a little bit of family update for anybody interested. I'm going to do a separate video on everything that I have kitted up that I'm going to start, all my new starts. And I was going to do January and new starts for the whole month, the whole year. Every month a couple of new starts. But I had so many kitted up that I decided to start in December. And what I did was I put it in this book that it's just a regular notepad. And I don't want you to see everything yet, but I have it like December 2020 and then January, and I have the number of starts that I'm planning for that month on the page. I'll do front and back if I have to, if I add anything. But right now, I think I have like 26 new starts. I lost count. But I have it here. I have what fabrics, and if I'm using the call for floss, whether it be DMC or Gentle Arts, Week Classic Color. So I hope to share that with all of you in my next video. And I'm planning that, I think Sunday is the 14th of November. So it's either going to be 14th, 15th, or 16th. I'm planning to do that video. And so if you're interested in that video, make sure you have a paper and pencil or a pen ready to take notes in case there's something you want to start when I'm starting, because I'm going to tell you what months I'm going to start them in. I know some people are starting things before me. Some people might have said, oh, I'll start it with you, but they might not like where I have it in my rotation. They're going to end up starting it sooner, which is fine. And if anybody does do a hashtag, just let me know, and when I do start it, I will join your hashtag. And I don't usually do stitch-alongs, only because I work on them very infrequently, because then I have to allow a 2-day rotation, and I'll have so many whips. I don't know exactly when, but eventually I'm going to have a lot of whips once I get through the year, and I'm not going to be able to stitch on everything every month. So there'll be months where it'll be every other month, and until I whittle it down. But right now I'm so excited about the ones that I want to start that I'm going to start them. And then however long it takes me to finish it, it takes me. And then I'm already thinking about the next year. I think that because most of these are all large projects, I think the following year I want to do smalls. Any new start has to be a small, where I can finish it in possibly 2 rotations, if not 1. And that's it. Okay, I'm going to do just a little bit of a life update, and anybody that doesn't want to hang around, thank you for staying with me up to now. Hope to see you in the middle of the month for what plans I have. So take care. And the rest of you who have stayed, let me just tell you, it's been crazy here. The weather's starting to change as far as it's getting cooler at night. And some of you that have been with me from the beginning know that we have fig trees in the backyard. And not last year, but the year before, it was the first year we made our first fig jam because it got cold so quickly and we had so many figs on the tree. But it happened again this year. We had a lot of figs maturing all at once. And we have 3 fig trees in the ground. And I want to say, I don't know, 7 in pots. My husband does all this stuff. He takes care of them all. But it's gotten to be where it's my husband against the squirrels. Squirrels love figs. Now we have 2 types of figs. We have a dark fig tree and a light, I don't know if they call it white figs, but the dark ones, when they mature, they start out green, and then when they mature, okay, I got a thing. Okay, let me just put this off till later on. For some reason, things pop up on my computer at the most inappropriate times. They want me to restart my computer. Okay, breathe. So anyway, they get dark when they ripen, and for some reason that attracts then the birds and the squirrels of going after the figs. So we put up this netting that we have to build some kind of a frame so that it doesn't lay on the tree itself. So we do that to try to distract them, but they still somehow get in there. We don't know if it's the birds or the squirrels because we never see them in there, but my husband finds eaten figs. But on the other tree, it's so large that there's no way we can cover it. So he hangs aluminum pie plates here and there to maybe distract them, and it works in the beginning, but once they get a taste of the fig, it's a battle. So all day long my husband is by the door and trying to scare away the squirrels, and it's funny, it gets to a point where, like, if it was me I would have given up, but he doesn't. He's stuck in there, and we have so many figs. I don't know how many jars of fig jam that we made, and so we now are making fig cookies. But what happened was, he's like, oh, do you want to make cookies tomorrow? I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. My oven broke. So he looked into it. It sounds really very handy, I have to say. I mean, he fixes just about anything that breaks, he can fix. He looks up it on YouTube now, especially. Before YouTube even existed to us, we would get books on electricity and things like that, and he would do it. He's really good that way. So he looked into it, and he believes it's the igniter in the oven. The broiler still works, the top burners still work, but the igniter. So we ordered it yesterday from Amazon. It's supposed to come in by tonight by 9 p.m. and he'll change it, and we'll see. We'll take it from there. Okay. So that's that part. Then this coming Saturday, today, what I did tell you is James and Amy's first year anniversary. So we're just doing a little dinner on Saturday. Michael and Rebecca and Caleb will come, and Amy's parents and sister will be here. So we'll be 10. My dining room table is open to the fullest, but we're going to put another table at the other, like just extend it so that we can spread out, and we don't have to sit on that close to each other. I don't know what we're going to do for Christmas yet, because I don't have enough to spread out 18 people in a continuous line, because the idea of being together is being together. So, like people were saying, well, people get their food and go eat over there, but the idea of being together is to be together. So I don't know how we're going to handle that yet, but that's the plan for this weekend. I had my wellness visit at the doctor, and I had my teeth cleaned yesterday, so all's good there, and hopefully we don't have to see them for another year. And that's it, I guess, for updates. Caleb is starting to walk by holding, we hold his hands, and Sal and I try to turn him around and like take a few steps to each of us, but He's not getting that yet. I mean, he does it, but he kind of like, and then kind of like throws himself at us. So it's cute to see that. And I guess that's it for now. Like I said, I'll be back in the middle of November, and I will do all my new starts and when I'm going to do it. So have that paper and pencil ready. And then, I don't know, tell me if you want me to do a video after that of my whips, or should I hold it out to the end of the month and then show you everything that I worked on in November. I will leave it up to you. I will do what the majority would like. I'm always happy to come talk with you and hear your notes to me. Thank you so much for your kind words. They mean a lot to me, and I'm so happy that you come back every month or 2 weeks. So take care, stay safe. Happy Election Day. Thank you for joining me. Bye now.